My name is Glenn Eliseo. I'm the pastor of the Pentecostals of Greensboro in Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been pastoring for 27 years, and I'm trained in philosophy from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Recently, I've been asked to give some comment on the new atheism movement and what it means for today's millennial generation. So what I'd like to talk to you about today is Richard Dawkins and a statement that he made famous in one of his books, The God Delusion, where he said that Darwinism has made it possible to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist. So let's take a look at that and what it means today. You have to have more than the evolutionary mechanism that tries to describe how one form of life changes into another form of life. In order to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, that you have to have an answer for the origin of life. You see, Darwin's theory stops at life itself. It does not go and try to explain how the first cell came into being. It is impossible to build an intellectually fulfilled life on a theory that is incomplete. So it only stands to reason that before your theory can give you intellectual fulfillment, you have to trace it back to the point where it takes in all the mystery and takes out all of the questions concerning this marvelous thing that we call life. How chemicals became a living being is still one of the great mysteries of science and of human history. And to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, you've got to remove all of that mystery. Secondly, let me say this. In order to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, you cannot rely on faith at any juncture of your theory. The problem with the theory of evolution is it's light on facts and heavy on faith. To have an explanation as to how something came alive from things that were non-living. There is the law of life called biogenesis. And the law of biogenesis states that living cells come from other living cells. I challenge all of you biology majors out there to check your book, and you will discover that it is one of the fundamental cornerstones of the theory of evolutionary, of the living sciences and of evolutionary theory, is that living cells come from other living cells. No one has been able to explain how a living cell can come from a non-living chemical element. Point number 3, in order to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, you have to have an explanation, not only for the origin of life, but for the origin of matter itself. There is an old saying, from nothing, nothing comes. And there is no credible, believable, scientific explanation as to why the universe exists as it does. It is a mystery, and it is impossible to be intellectually fulfilled and not have faith in God and not have an explanation for why there is something instead of nothing. Lawrence Krauss is a famous astrophysicist who claims in his book that it is not only possible, but it is likely and probable that the universe came from nothing. But the problem with Lawrence Krauss's nothing is it isn't nothing. It is a definition of nothing that is some form of energy fields that manage to warp and to pop into existence this great universe in what scientists refer to as the Big Bang. The problem with Krauss's theory, energy is not nothing. Vacuum, vacuums in space is not nothing. Particles careening at the speed of light is not nothing. Nothing is absolutely nothing. And so even Lawrence Krauss's nothing really at its base is something. So again, if you're going to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, even if you want to assume Krauss's position, you have to still ask the question, where did the energy fields come from in the first place? And finally, to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist, you cannot have a theory based on effects that have no cause. You see, science wants as a given the fact that the universe exists without explanation, or that life is already in motion without explanation, and then they can explain the rest of how it all happened without God. Sorry, no can do. If you're going to eliminate God from the equation, then you're going to have to show us how the universe got here without a divine miracle, and how life came from non-life without a divine intervention. Beyond that, you cannot be an intellectually satisfied atheist. I can't be an intellectually satisfied Christian if I do accept atheism's view on how matter got here and how life got here. So it's time to do a rethink, Mr. Science, and recognize science is a good thing. It provides a lot of answers, brings many explanations, but there's at least two things that it cannot explain, and it will never be able to explain. The first is how the universe got here in the first place, and the second is how life arose from non-life.